welcome to Hindu Post. Today we have with us a very distinguished guest, Mr. Bala Gautamanji. He has such a big introduction that it would be difficult for me to complete it. So I'll be telling you in short. He is basically an aeronautical engineer who went on to do his MPhil in sociology, and at present he is the director of Vedic Science Research Center here in Chennai. He is a documentary maker also. He has made a number of documentaries on various subjects, especially about the jihadi threat to Tamil Nadu, and he has also analyzed the security situation, the internal security situation inside Tamil Nadu. He is a one-man army working here, and I was going through his films, his documentaries, very nice productions, and I wish more and more people like him come out and start doing this kind of work to increase awareness about critical internal situations, internal security situations in our country. Mr. Bala Gautamanji, so with this kind of background, you have been working, you have been making documentaries, you have been writing a lot about internal security. In fact, we remember that the main problem about jihad in Tamil Nadu was in Coimbatore in the 90s, when there were huge bomb blasts, there were attacks, there was an area called Kotai Medu where there was a lot of tension. So I wonder, in the last decade, has anything improved from the 90s till today, in the last 2 decades almost, 3 decades now?
3 decades now.
Yeah, 3 decades now. So has anything improved in Tamil Nadu, or is it going worse?
It is getting deteriorated day by day. This is what we are trying to see now in Tamil Nadu. The epicenter of jihadi terrorism has now changed it's moved from Coimbatore, Madurai and Tirunelveli to all 25 to 30 districts of Tamil Nadu. Now we are finding jihadi incidents happening almost every district, whether south, north, west or central. That is what in our jihadi documentary we have documented around 300 jihadi incidents. We got incidents from almost every district of the state, and this is how jihadi menace has spread, and it has invaded, and it has eaten up all roots of the society. You can very well see from the various incidents that has happened in the past. Now the police, even while the riots were happening in Kotai Medu in Coimbatore, at least the police have got some control over the riots. They are able to go and they are able to arrest some of these accused. But what happened after that? Attacks were again mounted on the police. Attacks were mounted on Hindu organization members. So far 134 people belonging to the Hindu organizations lost their lives to these jihadis.
Yes, this is very important. Every now and then we hear that some Hindu Munani activist has been killed, some BJP activist has been killed, some Sangh activist has been killed, and anybody who is associated with Hindu organizations seems to be, seems to be just readily material which can be disposed of.
Yeah, the reason is because, they have become very soft targets now. Any Hindu can be made a soft target. Reason being, the entire police force in Tamil Nadu is afraid of even arresting a Muslim culprit. Just imagine in 1984 when Sri Ramagopalji was hacked by one Badshah. The court acquitted him, and he was caught with the weapon by a policeman and he got acquitted. And that person, he came back. He founded an organization by the name Alluma. That Alluma is responsible for bomb blast in 1993. Again, the Alluma is responsible for the serial bomb blast in Coimbatore in 1998. Alluma is responsible for liquidating many Hindu leaders. So when your legal machinery and your police fail, it is obvious these forces, they will automatically get strengthened.
So why is it that Muslims are not in a very big majority in Tamil Nadu? Muslims are hardly 6% of the population. Then why this kind of dominance is found here in Tamil Nadu?
Primarily, it is because of the political parties in Tamil Nadu. The Muslim appeasement 6% of vote they can dangle to you as a block. Hindus are divided. And point number 2, Tamil Nadu is having one of the worst politics you can anywhere find in this country. It is the Dravidian politics which is happening for the last 50 years. The Dravidian politics is basically from the anti-Hindu moorings. So, in the last 50 years, the fighting capability of the Hindu society is being eroded just because of this Dravidian politics. The last 50 years, Dravidian parties and the Dravidian ideology, they have de-Hinduized the entire Hindu population. Number 3, the Hindu pride, or you can put it in Tamil Nadu, the Tamil pride, what we used to have, that is being eroded, that is being systematically destroyed by this Dravidian organization. So a Hindu never felt that he is a Hindu. No Hindu is willing to come and fight for his own purpose. And again, the Dravidian politics, it started with we are beyond all caste, but it is the Dravidian parties which are responsible for growth of various caste organizations. So the division of Hindu society is meticulously planned, and it is done by these Dravidian parties at the behest of the missionaries and the jihadis. So a divided Hindu society, a de-Hinduized Hindu society, taking people from their cultural root, so automatically the Hindu society will become helpless because no Hindu is feeling that he is a part of the larger Hindu society. He is having various labels for himself, even though he may be going to a temple, but he is de-Hinduized by his heart.
No, but the same people are suffering. I was going through your documentary when we were watching it together. The same people in Tamil Nadu who are becoming anti-Hindu because of Dravidian ideology, the same people are suffering at the hands of jihadis. The same people's daughters are becoming victims of love jihad.
Yeah, that is right. You have to understand, this is where the Dravidian politics has played a very vital role. Look, in our estimate, girls eloped in the last, say around the last 8 to 10 years, around about 1.5 lakh girls have eloped through love jihad. It is not a small number, sir. 1.5 lakh girls means it is 1.5 lakh Hindu families have gone. How this happened? Look, the Dravidian rhetoric saying Hindu society is an inferior society. Hindu religion is the foundation for discrimination. Hindu society or Hindu culture is responsible for whatever ills the society has got. So, whatever associated with Hindu or Hindu-ness is actually termed as inferior, and they are made to believe that. The unfortunate thing is some of the religious heads in Tamil Nadu, they too vouch for this Dravidian ideology. So ultimately, if I view a Muslim, I view him with respect. Whereas if I view a person with a Hindu background, I don't view him with the same respect I accord to a Muslim or a Christian priest. So the problem is, if my girl got herself eloped with another Hindu from another caste, it is a major issue for me because it is a politics for Dravidian parties. But if the same thing happened with the Muslim, the same caste organizations or the same political parties which were up in arms when they are eloping again with another Hindu caste, they remain a mute spectator. Not only remaining a mute spectator, they will come up with very different theories.
No, but when these people have witnessed that their daughters have gone away like this, they are also witnessing aggression in streets against themselves also, their own shops, their own police forces, they are all become vulnerable, you know. So have their eyes opened or not?
Yeah, this is an issue because the thing is, most of the Hindu, if a common man, you go and ask them that this is an issue with, yes, my daughter got eloped and somebody has forcibly taken her out. The problem here is, now if I go to the police station and make a complaint, what action the police is taking against them? When I go to the police station with the complaint, 50 to 100 people with skull cap, they come and besiege the police station. The policeman will come and, counsel the Hindu parents. Now the Muslims are in huge numbers. It is very difficult for us to, safeguard you and your family. Better accept and finish the case off. It is good for you. This is how the police behave, and this is how the police act upon a Hindu complaint. Since the police is defenseless, how can you expect a common man to come out and fight? For instance, a jailer was murdered. His name is Jay Prakash. The accused, he got a life imprisonment. Last month he was let out by the Honorable Supreme Court of this country on the grounds, humanitarian grounds. Now, if a humanitarian ground, if you are going to apply on these guys who have killed 134 people, the Supreme Court never thought about the 134 human lives lost. So, since your police force is compromised, when the police station is mobbed, how can a hapless parent fight alone against the Muslim Gunda power and the subdued police power? It is a dual battle for him. Now, if you are going with the complaint, the police, okay, they will register a case. They will register a case in such a way that this case is not going to stand the scrutiny of the court. They will register it in such a way because they are under pressure from the jihadis. When the court hearing is going on, in most of the cross examinations, the government, the prosecution side, they will belittle the girl and their family. Do you think the girl will again get remarried? Can you think that the family of the victim can live in the society with the same honor and dignity as before? So it is basically the inaction of the government. It is the inaction of the political parties coupled with the muscular strength of the Muslims. The hapless Hindus have fallen victims to love jihad. Not only love jihad, even land jihad is going on. They will go, the Muslims will say that I will purchase this property at this rate. And if you are not going to agree, the same mobocracy is going to come back. Police will be paid by the Jamaat or by the Muslim organizations. The police will not act on your complaint. Instead, they will give a bogus complaint and the police will act on that complaint. How many days a hapless Hindu can fight?
So you mean to say that they are members of this community, they are entering into certain areas, they are buying the houses there, and slowly the Hindus are moving out after their entry, and they are buying the other places also around that.
They are pushing off the Hindu communities. Look,
how do they push them out?
I can tell you for one instance. Out of the temples worldwide, 50% of the temples are there in India. Out of the 100% temples in India, 50% are in Tamil Nadu. Because Tamil Nadu doesn't have that much aggression faced by North India, so most of the temples are intact. And out of those temples, most of the older temples are there in the Tanjore belt, that is the districts of Tanjavur, Nagapattinam and Thiruvarur. Go to all these places, most of these temples are very renowned temple. They all have Tevaram songs, they all have Prabandham songs sung on them, and these are Mangalasasanam temples are there. Go to any Agraharam in that place, most of the Agraharams, that is, these Agraharams are the roads which are near the temples, are now populated by Muslims. How this happened? They will purchase one or two property. The first 20 to 30% of the Muslim purchase will be on a higher rate. If the property is worth 10 lakhs, they will give you 12 lakhs and they will purchase. After 20 to 30%, no other person will go and purchase there because they will make it as a Muslim locality. They will take meat there and automatically the vegetarian people will try to push out of that. The next 20 to 30% will be sold at the market price. then the next 50%, they cannot survive that there easily. So they will say now, I will give you 6 to 8 lakhs, get away, or I will do the butchery in front of your house. How long that minority Hindu in that particular street can afford to live in such a circumstance?
Can you give an example? Because people would like to, I know that this is happening, but can you give the name of some locality and some dates or some little bit of an idea of where this is happening?
This is happening in the district of Tanjavur.
Okay.
District of Tanjavur, there are many agraharams. Now, you travel from Tanjavur to Kumbakonam. While you travel from Tanjavur to Kumbakonam, you enter Pandaravade. Then you have Ayyambete. Then you have Rajagiri. If you just pass through the road, you can very well feel that you are traveling somewhere else in Pakistan, not in India. You can feel that.
And what about Chennai?
Chennai, there are pockets in Chennai which are more Islamic than Hindu. Even government police cannot enter. Why to go up to that extent? There are no-go zones in Tamil Nadu.
Okay, where?
In Ramanathapuram district, you can see boards, warning boards. If you are going to distribute some pamphlet or you are going to make some loudspeaker announcement or advertisement or something else, you need to get permission from the Jamaat to enter into that. So in Tamil Nadu, we have areas we require visa from the Jamaat to enter. So we have a dual citizenship issue even in Tamil Nadu here.
Has the Vishwa Hindu Parishad or the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh or any organization raised this issue at all?
Yeah, they have raised the issue. But the thing is, you have to see, it basically it depends on a killing instinct how you go about it.
That is lacking.
That is lacking. This is what I feel.
So Hindu organizations are not able to, fight against this visa regime. We are talking about this kind of
I don't say that
no-go areas.
No, I don't say that they are fighting against. We did a study on that. We took a newspaper person into that area. We covered that entire story. It all came up in a newspaper.
Which newspaper?
It came up in Pioneer, Daily Pioneer.
Okay.
And after that, we forced the government to remove.
So did action happen?
Yeah, the boats were removed.
Okay.
And now I heard that they have come up. I have not gone back. I have to go back and I have to check.
Right.
Now I heard that they have come back.
Okay.
So the thing is, these no-go zones are there in Tamil Nadu, and you might have to understand that in that particular districts, the Muslims are somewhere around 15 to 16%, not more than that. So within the 15-16% population, you have no-go zones in Tamil Nadu. And the worst part happened in the last parliamentary elections, where Vijayakant's party is fighting along with BJP in the last elections. So during the election campaign, the Vijayakant party's candidate, he went for canvassing votes. So the Muslims said that you are not supposed to go through this road and canvass because you are a part of NDA. The candidate along with the convoy were driven out. The issue was raised by the BJP to the police. Immediately the police came. His name is Kannan, I think. He is the sub-inspector of Dindigul at that time. You know what the paper statement he made? The candidate went and canvassed in a prohibited area. So, in a democratic country, to canvass for votes, you have prohibited areas. So, this is how the law and order situation and governance in Tamil Nadu is all about. If this is the case with a mighty government, then how can you expect an ordinary Hindu to have his daily life? Now, it is business jihad, which is another interesting topic that as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. They have taken over most of the businesses in Tamil Nadu. Now, the grocery business, which was once dominated by the Chettiars and the Nadars, these are the communities which were dominating it. Now it is the Muslims who are dominating it. For one instance, Namakkal is one district which is the maximum Hindu population district percentage wise. The Muslim population in Namakkal is very, very, very microscopic and minuscule minority. Now what is happening? 65 grocery shops were set up by the Muslims, and not even a single Muslim is from the district, because the district doesn't have that population to set up those shops. So the Muslims from Ramanathapuram, some other Tirunelveli district, they migrate into this district and they are setting up shops. And again, you don't have that much big business for 65 grocery shops. So these shops were strategically set up to finish off Hindu businesses. The thing is, it is an economic jihad, in another way we can call it. Most places in the 2 tier and 3 tier cities, towns and cities, they are coming up with malls, which doesn't have that much amount of business. They are taking over hotel industry. So vital businesses and business establishments are now taken over by the Muslims. So the backbone of the Hindu community is being targeted or is being broken systematically. Financially it is being done, population wise it is being done, it is being done by some other means. And they have invented another jihad called the transport jihad, what we call it as a connectivity jihad. This connectivity jihad is a peculiar jihad, it is happening throughout the country. But I am sorry to say, none of our people are having any data or any study regarding connectivity jihad. 10-12 years back, the Muslims, they made a newspaper advertisement. You know, the advertisement is an interesting advertisement calling for purchase of land for the purpose of constructing a mosque and 2 shops in Tirunelveli Chennai National Highway for every 60 to 80 kilometers. The question is very simple. A mosque is constructed for the purpose, that purpose is for a Muslim to pray. Now the advertisement says that we want to construct a mosque with in a frequency of 60 to 80 kilometers along a particular highway. So the objective is very clear, I just want to capture this highway. So it is a newspaper advertisement made, but no government, no police organization, no organization bothered about this advertisement. You go through Tamil Nadu, all the highways, whether running south to north, that is from Chennai up to Kanyakumari, or from Bangalore up to Kanyakumari, now the frequency is reduced to 30 kilometers. For every 30 kilometers you can find one mosque, whether there is a Muslim colony or not, but you can find a mosque. And now what they are doing? They are now populating the nearby locality of those mosques with Muslims. The Muslims are not only from Tamil Nadu. We have around 20 lakh Bangladeshi Muslims sitting in the state.
And Rohingyas.
And Rohingyas too. They are systematically settled along this road. And it is not only these 2 highways they have targeted. There are 4 passes to connect Arabian Sea to the Bay of Bengal. One is the Kaliyakavale Pass in the Kanyakumari district. Then you have another mountain pass, that is the Shengota Pass, that is from Kollam Jilla to Tirunelveli district, and it further goes up to the Bay of Bengal. Then we have the next mountain pass, that is the Theni district. We have 3 mountain passes, that is from again from Kochi, Alappuzha district, Kottayam district. It just comes inside Tamil Nadu and it passed through Madurai and Tiruchi, this locality, and it further goes towards Bay of Bengal. And then again you have the another pass, that is 2 major passes. One we can say the Pollachi Pass and the Coimbatore Pass, and this that is in technically we call it as the Palghat Pass. That again from north to central Kerala, and it again comes inside Tamil Nadu. These roads, they transverse through Tamil Nadu and they reach the Bay of Bengal. The entire route, for every 30 kilometers now you can find a mosque. Systematically all these roads which are connecting both the seas are now populated by the Muslims. And why it is being done? Already they have the Malappuram district there in Kerala, which is again 70% Muslims. And based on the Muslim demand, Jayalalitha 3-4 years back, she announced Kizhakkarai as a separate taluk in Ramanathapuram district, that is again in the Bay of Bengal's shore. Bay of Bengal shore, in the sense that that particular taluka is going to have a sizable Muslim population. So a Malappuram of east is being created by the last Tamil Nadu government. This has happened. Now what is going to happen? Now the linkage between the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal is now complete. So the connectivity jihad in terms of road, that has come up. Another connectivity issue is about the railway connectivity. Go to any major railway junction in Tamil Nadu, you can find one railway canteen run by a Muslim. So the entire rail route is now taken. Number 3, go to any major airport, you can have one stall for the Akbar travels. Again, airport is now under the control of the Muslims. So connectivity through air is now in the hands of the Muslims. And then the vital one, that is the modern connectivity, is more about the mobile phones. Take the mobile phone industry. 70 to 80% of recharge mobile centers are now run by the Muslims. Now, when I mentioned there are around 1.5 lakh love jihad cases that has happened in Tamil Nadu, how the Muslims are able to get easily closer to our girls? You go to any mobile shop and 70 to 80% are Muslim shops. So when you recharge your mobile phone, your mobile number is going to be with them. So all your contact details are going to be in the hands of the Muslims. So this connectivity jihad is vital for the Muslims to penetrate into all aspects of Hindu life, and this is what is happening in Tamil Nadu. And while I mention about this connectivity jihad, the one major thing that we need to understand, Tamil Nadu has got a coastline of 1000 plus kilometers. Take alone the first 3 districts, Kanyakumari, Tirunelveli, Thoothukudi, that coastline may be roughly around 70-80 kilometers. That 70-80 kilometers you cannot find any person other than a Christian, because a Christian will not allow a Muslim to enter into his area. The remaining coast, the fishing community is Hindu, but the entire fishing business is there with the Muslim. And again, after the fall of LTTE in 2009, the entire sea coast is now controlled by the jihadis, and ISI, Pakistan ISI, is operating through its high commissions there in Sri Lanka. So the frontier now opened up by Pakistan in southern India, it is now north is more secure than south. This is what I feel, because Jammu's Hindu population is far better than the coastal population in Tamil Nadu. So the most vulnerable portion of India's border is now Tamil Nadu. It is basically on the northern and central coast, it is by the jihadis, and the southern coast by the Christian missionaries. And this is what Tamil Nadu is all about today. So Tamil Nadu is fighting a conventional war with Pakistan, fighting an unconventional war with jihadis. We are fighting an internal battle with the homegrown jihadis. And again, Tamil Nadu is one state which has sent more number of recruits to ISIS. It is there in police records. And time and again, whenever there is a news about an ISIS racket is busted, 1 or 2 guys are from Tamil Nadu. So it has become a training ground for international jihadi terror. So as you asked me initially, whether the situation has deteriorated or it has improved, now it is very much clear from the data what we got, it is not deteriorated. Tamil Nadu has become a Taliban or a jihadi land. This is what has happened in the last 20 years.
This is very scary indeed, given that the population is only around 6%, the so-called minorities, and they are able to exert so much pressure because of the lack of awareness in the Hindu community about themselves, their pride, that has been all sucked up by the communists, by the Islamists and the missionaries.
Yes.
And we have not been able to touch the missionary issue, because I find evangelism to be widespread in Tamil Nadu.
Yes, widespread in Tamil Nadu in such a way, the missionary activity is now dictating the main course of discussions in Tamil Nadu. In the last 30 to 40 years, what the missionaries, apart from conversion, why the conversion is happening? Because the missionaries are able to de-Hinduize the Hindu population in the last 30-40 years. how this has happened. You just walk into the education department of Tamil Nadu in Chennai. Not less than 30 to 40% of the people working there in education departments are Christians. The last 30 to 40 years, Atichudi of Avvayar, Kondrai Vendan, most of the classical Tamil text which speaks more about the culture of the land are removed from school syllabus. And now they all got replaced. Replaced by what? Dravidian literature. I remember even in my class 7 or 9, I learned there is one poetry in the poetry section in Tamil that is called Ravana Kaviyam. Ravana Kaviyam means it is the tale of Ravana. So I studied Ravana as a hero in my school. This particular thing seeped into Tamil Nadu syllabus. And then in my college days, that is in the first year, Tamilanban's Kavidai was there in my syllabus. It said, Sudandaram Vendam Soru Kodu. That means we don't want freedom, just give us food. That means this India, that is the free India, has failed you. It has failed to give you food. So don't aspire for a national pride. You only aspire for your food and your daily requirements. That is belittling the entire freedom movement, the entire freedom struggle that what has brought us the freedom to live today. And this was there in the school syllabus. Systematically what the Christian missionaries have done, they have pushed out all these cultural things in the back burner. They finished off all these things. They introduced new syllabuses in the way of new thoughts. For one instance, recently there was an agitation. It was done by ABVP, that is for making Nombu as a lesson in a college for first year BA students. It is a book written by one Daniel Selvaraj. The first chapter is by the name Nombu. The story goes in this way. In Tamil Nadu we have 12 Alvars in the Vaishnava system. One of the Alvar by the name Periyalvar. The narrative of this Daniel Selvaraj goes in this way. This Periyalvar has got an affair with a prostitute. Through that prostitute, he gave birth to Andal. And there is a king, a Pandya king. He wanted to have affairs with Andal. And look, this is what was there included in the syllabus in Manonmaniyam Sundarnar University in Tamil Nadu. Finally, ABVP protested against it and finally we are able to take it out. So, systematically what the missionaries have done, they finished off the native Tamil culture. They took off all the, not only,
because that is Hindu. They took out the native culture because, if the original culture of Tamil Nadu, it is the purest form of Hinduism.
So they don't want that.
Yes.
Number one. And number two, they don't want anything which is alien to their thought.
Yes.
So this is the success of the Christian missionaries over the period of time. They de-Hinduized the people, and in way what they have did is they finished off the native culture of the land.
Yes.
And they brought in their inferior narrative into our history, and what they are successful in doing it is they are superior and we are inferior. This particular system of thought is being inculcated in every mind just because of this missionaries' influence in policy making level at the education department and other departments.
Yes,
and
this.
What happened?
Yes.
Ultimately, because of this, when the cultural roots of our people are cut off, they become easy prey for them to convert. People generally think that conversion is happening because of economic issues. Conversion is not happening just because of economic issues. For one instance, I can tell you, even in Chennai, we have a strong organization by the name Brahmin Christian Association. And the Brahmins who got converted to Christianity are no longer, illiterates. They are not paupers. They are professionals working in software industry. They are professionals working in some management organizations, other things. Because they got de-Hinduized. And now when the new work system comes, the issue here is they are finding it very difficult to cope up with stress. And it is mandatory for any software company to have a counseling for that higher, for that high stressed job. So most of the people who are working as counselors in both those organizations are Christians. They are making use of it and they are converting. So conversion is not only happening in slums, conversion is not only happening in fisherman locality, conversion is happening everywhere.
Is there any hope? See, what we have been talking, for the last many minutes, maybe half an hour or so, it's very, very depressing, the scenario in Tamil Nadu. So, is there any hope? Because now we are talking to young viewers, there will be many young children watching this program, there would be many people. So, if there is some hope for them, they would like to do something.
Yeah, of course, there is a hope, I can tell you. Tamil Nadu in 1960s, it started with the anti-God movement, the Dravidian movement they started. They went bashing anti-God, they say that Hinduism is totally out. And at that time everybody said, okay, it is again the fall of Hinduism because the Dravidianism has come up. It is again helped by jihadis, the Christians. It all started off. But ultimately what happened is, some social movement, they evolved in Tamil Nadu. One is the Kavadi movement. It was usually confined to one community by the Nagarattar, the Chettiar community in Karaikudi. They used to go to Palani with Kavadi. Then again, many people with the villages, they started going along with them. Now, when there is Thaipusam or some other occasion, you cannot even ply your vehicle in the road. There will be lakhs of Kavadis going on. Again, the second one.
The same thing is happening in North India.
Yeah. In 1950s, the Christians, they burned the Sabarimala temple. They attacked the temple, they burned it down in 1950. And there is a Kesava Menon report on that. In that report, the report concluded that it is done by the Christian missionaries. So after the temple was destroyed and it was burned down, P.T. Rajan belongs to the Justice Party. Then he became a God-fearing man in his later years. With the Nawab Rajamanikam and with the blessings of Kanchi Shankaracharya, they made a Aimbon statue, that is the Panchaloka statue. It was made here in Tamil Nadu. That statue went around all places of Tamil Nadu and Kerala and it got installed. The Ayyappa deity you are seeing there in Sabarimala today is the deity which was replaced after this Christian attack, and it was made in Tamil Nadu and it was done by the local Tamil people. At that time Sabarimala was not so famous. Now come the month of Kartike in Tamil, what you can say in the October, November, go to any village in Tamil Nadu, you can hear Swamiye Saranamayappa. It has evolved. Dharma evolved itself. Christianity or Dravidianism or communism or Islam, they are all government sponsored movements. But Dharma knows how to protect itself. And this is now, when you go to any village in Tamil Nadu, you can find a Sabarimala Swami during the Sabarimala season. So, when the Dravidian movement in the 1960s, when it evolved, you don't have a Sabarimala movement like this. Now the Sabarimala has come up.
The Dravidian movement itself
Convert-
had their own people, their own, especially the women folk in their families. They continued the tradition of visiting temples, etc.
Not only the women folk, the statue of Swami Ayyappa, which is now in Sabarimala, one of the major sponsor is P.T. Rajan. P.T. Rajan is the leader of the Justice Party. Justice Party is the one which is the fountainhead of Dravidian movement in Tamil Nadu.
Yes.
So this is what has happened in Tamil Nadu. And the third,
I found all of them, I found DMK cadre, I found AIDMK cadre, everyone wearing this tilak.
it is not only tilak. You go to any temple during elections, I can tell you, the priests are happy and they are filling their pockets with money during that season, because it is mostly the DMK and the ADMK cadres are doing havanas. And one of the major, Karunanidhi was there in his deathbed for a long time. It is during the period almost every DMK cadre went to a temple and they performed havan, special puja for recovery of Karunanidhi. So this is what the cultural strength of this country is all about. And another thing that you need to understand, Tamil Nadu is one state. When you asked about what are the positive strength, till 1970s, when the Ganesh Chaturthi come, the DK cadres, the Dravidar Kazhagam cadres, in most of the localities, they will take a Ganesha, they will break it in the road. Whenever Ganesh Chaturthi comes, they say, the North Indian god, we will break them up. It is an annual event in Tamil Nadu. It was an annual event, not is. Just I am underlining is and was here. It was an annual event in Tamil Nadu. 1980s, Hindu Munani was formed by Sri Ramagopalji. After Hindu Munani, the inception of Hindu Munani is basically to counter the Meenakshipuram conversion. Hindu Munani started flourishing in the state. Hindu Munani brought in Vinayaka Chaturthi to Tamil Nadu. You won't believe. Now we have 1 lakh Vinayaka Chaturthi idols throughout Tamil Nadu every Ganesh Chaturthi. A state where 30-40 years back, where Ganesh idols were broken, it is a state where every street corner is having a Ganesha. This is a transformation that has taken place despite all these things.
So Dharma is finding its roots.
But there is again ifs and buts. It is happening. But the thing is, the pace with which it is happening
is slow.
So
what is your message?
The message is, the community is now having the awareness. But the real issue is, we don't have organizers to tap that particular strength of the community. The community evolved itself to defend itself. But we don't have an organizing force to coordinate all these things and make it as a single Hindu force to fight it. This is the major issue what Tamil Nadu is facing. This is one of the most fertile place for Dharma. No doubt about it. Still Dharma is strong.
What about your own security? Let me come to your, because I have found so much happening here in Tamil Nadu.
There are
the
some
danger
attempts
to Hindu activists is very high. Almost every Hindu activist who was doing something has suffered at the hands of jihadis.
Sir, I can tell you, when you will be attacked if you work, right? So, you have to understand, when couple of terrorists were killed in Kashmir, the terror activities in Kashmir is coming down. After killing 134 Hindu activists, till Hindu organizations are working, till Hindus are fighting means, the basic DNA of the Hindus are much stronger than the basic DNA of a Muslim. Even after all these losses, even after an antagonizing government, even after various...
What about your own security?
That is what I mean to say. Dharma will protect me. Okay. I believe that. Number one, I can tell you, conversions happened from Hindus. The Hindu, the Muslim today or a Christian today, you have to understand, they got converted either for force or through fraudulent means or for some temptation. But the Hindus who are remaining in this country till our forefathers, they are beyond all these three vices. So basically our DNA is strong. So I think that we are capable of fighting more than the Muslims and Christians. But the unfortunate thing that we have not discovered our own self to fight. That is the problem. And in the process, if we come out of it, it will be just another 20 or 30 years for these guys to come back to Hinduism. Because they have not gone to Islam or Christianity. As I know, the thing is, I have learned the entire Upanishad or Gita, then I have learned Bible and Quran, I got converted. Not even a single person can say that. So the conversion has happened through these three things: force, fraud and temptation. Okay. So the thing is, if these three things are arrested, no back, they will be back to Hinduism.
I really, we are very thankful, Hindu Post is very thankful to you for having given us so much time and such important details about Tamil Nadu, the security situation in Tamil Nadu, the solution, and we hope that you are able to achieve what you are working for in such a devoted and committed manner.
Just want a correction here, not you, us. We will do it.
Thanks a lot, Bal Gautamanji, for giving us your precious time.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Hindu Post thanks you for that.
Namaskar.